how humans accidentally turned wolves into dogs. Right now, somewhere in your house, there is probably a dog, sleeping on your couch, begging for food, following you from room to room like its life depends on it. That dog is genetically a wolf, not a distant cousin of a wolf, not a wolf-like animal. An actual wolf just reshaped by thousands of years of one accidental decision. And here's the part that will mess with you. Humans didn't choose to create dogs. We didn't sit down one day and decide to tame a wolf. The wolves did it themselves. About 15,000 years ago, humans were living in small hunting camps across Europe and Asia. Every camp produced waste, bones, scraps, leftover meat nobody wanted. And wolves, who are naturally curious, opportunistic predators, noticed. Most wolves stayed far away from humans, too dangerous, too unpredictable, but some wolves were bolder, slightly less afraid, willing to creep closer to the edges of human camps at night to steal scraps from the trash. This is the key detail most people miss. Those bolder wolves weren't being trained. Nobody was feeding them on purpose. They were simply braver than the rest of their pack, and that boldness gave them access to free food the other wolves couldn't get. Here's where evolution takes over. The wolves that were calm enough to tolerate being near humans survived better. They had access to easy food without the risk of hunting. They had more energy, better health, more pups, and their pups inherited that same calmness, that same lack of fear around humans. Generation after generation, something strange started happening. The wolves hanging around human camps weren't just calmer. Their bodies started physically changing. Scientists later discovered something called the domestication syndrome. When animals are selected for calmness over generations, their bodies start producing less stress hormone. And that hormonal shift has unexpected side effects. Their ears started to droop. Their tails curled differently. Their fur developed new colors and patterns. Their faces and skulls grew slightly smaller, more rounded, more puppy-like. None of this was intentional. Humans weren't breeding for floppy ears. The wolves were simply becoming calmer, and biology dragged everything else along with it. Eventually, these camp-following wolves became permanent fixtures. They scavenged near camps, alerted humans to approaching predators just by barking, helped track injured prey during hunts. Humans noticed the benefit and started tolerating them, maybe even feeding them on purpose now. This is the part where humans finally get involved in the story, but notice, we're already thousands of years into the process by this point. We weren't the ones who started it. We just recognized something useful was already happening and leaned into it. Slowly, intentional breeding began. Humans started selecting which wolves to keep close based on temperament, usefulness, and appearance. That intentional breeding is what eventually produced the hundreds of dog breeds we have today, from tiny Chihuahuas to massive Great Danes. But the foundation of the entire relationship, that happened by accident, started by wolves, not us. Here's the detail that really reframes this whole story. Modern dogs share over 99% of their DNA with wolves. Genetically, they are nearly identical. Behaviorally, they are worlds apart. A wolf raised by humans from birth, fed, loved, and trained, will still never become a dog. Its instincts remain fundamentally wild. It cannot be domesticated within one lifetime. Domestication isn't something that happens to an individual animal. It's something that happens to a population, across thousands of years, through countless generations of survival pressure. Your dog isn't tame because you trained it well. Your dog is tame because 15,000 years of its ancestors quietly chose to be near humans instead of running away. Every dog alive today is descended from the boldest, calmest wolves that ever lived. So next time your dog curls up next to you on the couch, completely relaxed, completely trusting, remember what you're actually looking at. Not a pet that humans created. A descendant of wild wolves who looked at a campfire, weighed the risk, and decided humans were worth getting closer to. We didn't tame the wolf. The wolf tamed itself one brave, hungry decision at a time. Welcome to NeverKnew.